This conference will now be recorded.
Perfect. So once again, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining the call or the demo. So just wanted to take a couple of minutes and summarize what we have learned yesterday. Uh, Anyone want to take a lead and talk about what have we learned yesterday, right? Or let me start. We have spoken about the basics of digital marketing, why digital marketing is required, what is the growth of digital marketing, uh, and what are the types of digital marketing like SEO, social media, pay per click, content marketing, email marketing, and these are the types that we learned. And how what is the future of digital marketing is what one thing that we learned. Did did we miss anything, or do you remember anything else that we discussed apart from uh, all this that I covered just now? Amreen or Mansa, anything that you wanted to add?
No, I think.
Okay, perfect. So today, what we will do, we will take the next step and move towards each of these types that we discussed. Right now, and the most important one is website. Now, why website is the most important one? So let me start sharing my screen and then practically show you, can a business run, or is digital marketing can happen without um, website, right? So let's look at something like this, right? Let me open Google. Right now I wanted to search for, yeah, now I wanted to search something like uh, pizza shop, right? In Bangalore. Now see, when I search this pizza shop near Bangalore, what I'm getting in my results. So it says, okay, I will start from the beginning. It says 14 best pizza restaurants in Bangalore, right? Let me open this. Then it says curry tales. Okay. The other one, it says TripAdvisor. Interesting. And we got some videos, and then Zomato also showed up. Swiggy also showed up, right? Let's take these 15 results. Now, if we see these 15 results, or sorry, five results, top five results, when we open them, you can see, right? It went to a website called as lbb.in and respective sub pages where it talks about different different content regarding pizzas, right? Now this is Curly Tales, and this is TripAdvisor, and this is Zomato, and then this is Swiggy. Now, what does that say to us is, if someone has to be available as a business, if I am a pizza owner and if I wanted to be available for my customers, I should be always available. My business should always be available as a website, right? Without website, if users are searching anywhere, whether it is on laptop, whether it is on mobile, whether it is on other devices, I need to, as a business, if I am the pizza owner or I want to start my own pizza restaurant, I need to always have a website. Hence, website is the key for your business to run in the world of digital world, right? With internet expanding so much, without website, it is highly difficult to run a business. Hence, every company, even if a small company, even now a small kirana store is also creating a website so that they are digitally expanding themselves, and that's how they can be visible and they can spread across, reaching the wider audience in their business. So that is the importance of having a website, right? Now, in order to create a website, let's learn something little. What are the reasons, or what are the types of websites, why a website is required, which we covered, and we will talk about what are the mandatory things that we need to learn when we create a website, right? Let me take you as it in the same example of what we are seeing here, or let's take this TripAdvisor, right? When you search for, let's say, TripAdvisor, Okay, right? You are getting what? You are getting their website name. For any result, you are getting their website name www.tripadvisor.in. You are getting www.holidayhomes.com and respective page URLs. You are getting kayak. You are getting TripAdvisor again. TripAdvisor.in. You are getting here. TripAdvisor.in. It is you are getting here. Now, what is when you click on this link? You are redirecting to a page. You are seeing a logo. You are seeing some content, right? This is called a full website of TripAdvisor. It will have different pages, right? The top one section is called, okay, the top section is called header, and the bottom section is called footer, right? At the footer, you have a lot of information which will cover in a bit. The top section will have different sections where a customer can navigate based on what they want or what they wanted to find within the website. Let me take another example, right? In Swiggy, in Zomato, right? The top section, the header section includes a search option, login option, sign up option, and the footer includes respective information of that particular company. Who are we? Their blogs, work with us, contact us information, press. All this is a footer section. Now, when a website is created, we need to make sure that we are using the right headers or right header sections, right footer sections, and the middle part is nothing but the content. This is where we need to be knowing about how to design a content, what is the end customer offers, how we need to differentiate our competitor. All this we'll be discussing when we are creating the entire website. Now, the first part, what we have observed, the first part is the URL part of it, right? Because as soon as you wanted to create a website, whichever brand that you are building, you need to first discuss or first come to a conclusion of what should be my domain or what should be my URL. When I say URL, this is the entire URL, which includes from, I will show you here, https www.zomato.com. It's a complete URL, or we call it as a domain URL. Now, why I am calling domain URL rather than URL, right? Now, yeah, someone else I believe has joined.
Yeah,
Hi,
hi.
Shah.
Can you,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
can you tell me which under which domain these will come because I missed it.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, I am starting with the domain point. Uh, Sorry, who was this question?
Today.
Okay. So, yeah. So let me go back. What I'm saying is, when we have a website created, we need to first decide on what is the domain URL, which is some, in this case, HTTPS. This is the entire path is called a domain URL, right? HTTPS. Each has its own name. I will come to that. www.zomato.com. Now, this can we have any website, either they can create under .com or create under .in, create under .net, create under co.in, right? These are subdomains for that. Or if they can create, I can show you different examples here. So when I'm searching something, earlier I was searching for, okay, yeah. Yeah. See, these are all different domains. You can see the restaurants.pizzahut.com. This restaurants.pizza. This restaurant keyword here is also a subdomain under Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut created another domain, subdomain. You can see, instead of calling it as pizzahut.in, they have a subdomain created under restaurants.pizzahut.com. So the reason why they are doing that is so that they want it to be available even when someone searches restaurants. So they're creating an extra keyword. We call this as a keyword in their URL to be available if someone is searching for restaurants as well. or a combination of pizza and restaurant. So we'll come to that part. So this is how the domain is created, and a subdomain is created, a .com, a .in, a uh, .com, .in, .co, .in, .net, everything can be selected when you are creating a website or a web domain URL. So to start with, we need to choose what is our website URL, right? That is the first fundamental step that you need to take. Now, I will ask you a question for you. Now, let's say you wanted to start your own business. uh, what kind of URL that you want to choose. How do you want to create a web page or website out of that? So let's take you wanted to create a jewelry shop, right? What is the name that you wanted to give to your jewelry shop? Let's let's give one example each. Amrin, you can talk about if you want to start a jewelry shop. What is the name that you will give to your jewelry shop?
Disha Jewelers.
Sorry.
Disha Jewelers.
Okay. Isha Jewelers, correct? That's what you said.
Risha, Rish.
Sorry, Risha. Okay, okay, Risha Jewelers, right? That's a good one. So see, there is already a Risha Jewels on the site. Risha Jewelry. There is also a domain. Uh, yeah, there are already couple of domains that are already there. Risha Jewels, Risha Jewelry, and Risha Jewels. Yeah, one and the same. So yes, when you now interestingly, when you choose a jewelry shop, you already used a keyword called as jewelry. So that is how a brand can be created. A keyword is very important when you used a jewelry shop, right? Now, if I wanted to start a pizza shop, for example, I can call it as Ishwar Pizza, right? So which I am using my business keyword. This is very very important when you are choosing the domain. So pizza jewelry shop is what pizza is one thing as a keyword that I need to use, so that I am being relevant, I am being known to the customers that I sell pizzas, right? I can talk about Ishwar Pizza. Similar way, the right way that you chose is Risha Jewelry, right? Which means you are using the word jewelry, which we call as keywords in digital language, right? The keyword jewelry you are using to create that specific keyword, right? Which is good. Thank you so much for that. Now let's move ahead and talk about there are key important structures or key important steps that you need to be aware when you are creating a website. There are 10 different small points that you need to remember. I will go by step. Once you understand all this 10 step by step process, you will be very good. You will be gaining very good knowledge on what is a website, how to create a website, to create a website, what are the different tools I need to use to create a website. Only 10 points you need to remember so that you are very clear about the website creation process, right? First one we discussed, which is a domain URL, right? Which we currently discussed. For example, in the same example of www.richa right, .com, this is nothing but a domain URL. This is what you need to decide when you create your own company. You can talk about www.pizzashop.com.in, www. If you want to be very localistic, you can say the pizza shop bangalore.com, www.jewelry .co.in. So you can be very creative, as well as you can be very niche in creating that particular domain name. Now there are couple of suggestions I will give you. Never choose a longer format of creating a website domain. Don't say that pizza shop bangalore at jp nagar or whatever. So don't try to create a longer version of it. It will create a confusion, because when people want to search something, it should be very simple and short. Do not try to use any kind of numbers. Generally websites we do not recommend using numbers, because people slightly can get confused with using numbers, like pizza shop Bangalore 123. Don't try to create that, or try to avoid as much as possible if you are using hyphens or dots, right? Generally hyphens are used when you are creating a website if the adjacent alphabetical name, for example pizza Amazon, for example, there is an alphabetical name, pizza, okay, pizza, if I say America, right? There is an alphabetical that is coming adjacent to each other. Since it creates confusion, generally companies use a hyphen or a dot, generally not dot, they use hyphen to differentiate that particular domain. So to create that confusion, or to avoid that confusion, I generally recommend people not using a complex names. Try to make it as simple as possible. Use your brand on what you wanted to sell, so that it is easy for people to recognize that particular brand, right? That is what domain URL is all about. No, I'm sorry, just that is what domain URL is all about. Now let's take another step, and I start identifying when. Okay, this is one thing, 99acres.com. Now when I open this website, I'm seeing this website again. What is the top one you are seeing on the top? It's a header, right? Overview, prices, all these are headers. And the bottom one that you are seeing is headers, is the footers section that you are seeing in the bottom. Now when I search all this, when a website is created, how this information is getting fetched, how much is that information coming up, what is the reason of, or where is this information getting stored? Any idea? For example, if I'm searching for digital marketing, right, I'm getting all these results. Where is this information getting stored? From where the Google is pulling this information to display? So all this information is stored in a server. It's called server. The website, when we create TripAdvisor, it should be saved in a server. All this information has to be saved in a server. Only then the Google will be able to pull information from that particular server, right? For example, if I am creating my own website, right, or if I'm creating my own pizza shop, I need to have a place to keep it, right? I need to have a small room, I need to have a place. That place is where people can come and visit our pizza shop. Similarly, when you are creating a website, you need to have that website having a place. That place is called a server. You need to have a server to create, to store a website. Now, that is where you will be knowing about hosting server. Why we are calling it as a hosting server is because your server has to be hosted on either a different dedicated server or shared servers. We call it as, I will give you an example. For example, if you have your own web pizza created, do you want to share it? It requires space, right? Each server requires 5 GB space, for example, 1 GB space, for example, right? Based on the amount of web pages that you have, or based on the amount of text or images or videos that you have, each server requires certain amount of space, and you need to pay for the amount of space that you are taking from the hosting server. For example, if you feel my website requires only 1 GB of space, I will not use so much of web pages, I will not create so many images or videos, I will only use plain text server, then I need only 1 GB of space for my website. For that, then you will take 1 GB server space. But for example, you will think, okay, for now I need 5 GB of space, but moving forward, I will increase my website. I will create multiple subdomains. I will create multiple location websites. Then I need 5 GB server space. That is where you will increase the space, and based on the space that you are taking, you will be paying cost to the hosting server. I will i will come to that, and you will be paying accordingly. Let's say 5 GB is 5000 rupees, 1 GB is 1000 rupees, right? you will pay that amount to the hosting server to have a space available for you. Now when I say server, there will be two servers that I'm talking about. One is dedicated server, right? The other one is shared server. There is another one called as virtual space, but yeah, virtual. But we'll talk about dedicated and shared. Those are the most important ones, and 95% of all the servers are on dedicated or shared servers. So let me give you a very small example of what is a dedicated server. Why do we need to use dedicated server? What is a shared server? Why do we need to use a shared server? Okay, dedicated server is nothing but the company, the 5 GB data that you are using, or the hosting server will be completely dedicated to you, to your business, so that there is no server space being utilized by someone else who is running other business. Whereas shared servers is you are taking the server space where other people are also using the same server. So the network or the size that is being allocated to you will be on the shared networks. Similar like, right, let's understand a bus, right? You are going from Bangalore to Hyderabad. Bus is nothing but a shared business, right? Where you take space from other people as well. Whereas if you are going by your own personal car, it is called as a dedicated server. So the difference is, if you are going by a bus, the cost will be smaller, whereas if you are going by your dedicated, the cost will be higher. So it will be a percentage based on the cost and the size of the business that you are taking, right? That is where hosting server comes into picture. Any questions so far? Is Then you will be knowing about what are the different hosting servers, which I will come to you in a minute. Any questions so far on what is domain URL, what is hosting server? Okay, I guess everything is clear. So now let's go back and look at, this is the website, right? Now I have decided what should be my website. Okay, I decided on that. Now I should also wanted to create a hosting server. Now I need to take a hosting server to host my website there. So before that, I will give you few examples of different different tools where you can easily create your website. But let me give you an example. There is a tool called as Mixo. This is an AI tool, generative AI tool. You can create a website in a matter of couple of seconds. You can tell this to Mixo, saying that, hey, I need a website. Okay, a pizza shop. Okay, let me, pizza might be boring. A beautiful boutique for women in Hyderabad, where I want to sell dresses ranging from 1,000 to 10,000. Sorry, 1 lakh. This is, it will ask me whether you want to collect subscribers. You can choose, it's not mandatory. You can select whatever you want to select. You can make changes later also. Link, do you need any external links to the website? Do you want a phone number or WhatsApp number to be shared? I can write, I want to give my phone number. I will give a random one. Okay. And do you want to have your website created with any kind of scheduled appointments? I can create Calendly. You can add that link later also and generate a site, right? Now it fetches that information. It will create a entirely a new website for you. I will show you that. Right, boom, your website is ready. Of course, for that, what I was explaining, you need to know your domain URL, you need to know hosting your site, you need to know different elements of the website, the 10 elements of the website that you will be doing it practically today and tomorrow. We will be doing that everything practically so that you will know the entire process of it. So but what I'm showing you here is a AI tools to make you create a website as quick as possible in less than 5 seconds, right? It has taken less than 5 seconds. You can create your website, keep everything ready, and you can make necessary changes based on the hosting and all this. You can make necessary changes, and you can use edit if you want to change your name. Okay, right? Customize brand. I want to change my brand. I wanted to call it as uh, Ishwar Boutique, right? I want to change the color to some other color, let's say blue or whatever, right? Second color, I want to change it to, let's say, yellow or green, whatever, right? So you can, as easy as matter of selecting few options, it will change everything. You can take the images. Now if you feel that okay, this is not the right image that I wanted to use, I want to use a better image, then there are multiple AI tools you can use it. For example, this is one of the best tool. It's called as free pick. I can give you all these URLs. I can give you this information in the chat here. You can use these websites to create. Okay, Nexo.io website creation. Then I will give you free pick for image generation. Okay, this is one of the best AI tools that you have in the market, where you can describe anything and it will immediately generate a images for you in real time, with a lot of quality as well. So let's take our same brand that we just created in Mixo, where I created a fashion brand. Right now let's describe what I want as an image. Beautiful woman, beautiful girl of age 10, dress with white frock and waist pink, blue waist ribbon. Right? I can describe as is as much as detailed I can, and it will immediately create. See, I have these images created. Now I can change in a garden. Right? I can change whatever based on my requirement. I can take these images. Right, a small garden has been built. I can describe other changes as well. Now once I want to use it, I can download this page image, and I can input in this particular section. And that is how simply you can create images, you can create website, you can create hosting. Everything can be done using these tools. Using AI tools, you can implement whatever you can do. There is nothing that you need to know a photoshoppy. There is nothing you need to know about graphic designing. There is nothing you should be knowing about website designing with a high coding skills, not required. All this you will be getting it within a fingertips. You can create everything. There is no coding required. That's what I'm trying to show you here. Right? Any questions so far before we proceed further? And then I will talk about the remaining aspects of the remaining 7 aspects of how to create, and we can do practicals tomorrow. Any questions so far? Okay,
No,
sorry, go ahead.
no, Isha.
Okay, so now let's start with the domain URL, the domain that we need to talk, select, right? For example, now earlier we have discussed, we will stick to this pizza shop Bangalore, right? For example, I wanted to start a shop in pizza for a pizza in Bangalore. Now I wanted to search whether I have my this domain available or not. So there are multiple domain providers or domain server providers like GoDaddy, right? You might have heard this GoDaddy. There are multiple websites. Let me go to GoDaddy for now, right? I'm going to type shop.com. This domain is already taken, right? Whereas there is another domain called as pizzashop.net.in. This is available with 600 rupees per year cost, right? So however, I wanted to make it little more interesting, or Italian, okay, Indian pizzas. See, this domain is available, right? With just 1 rupee cost, we are getting it for 1 year. We are getting for 1 year. This domain is now available and I can use it. But remember, I explained, don't keep it too large, or too this large. Indian pizza shop Bangalore is too large. So generally, I don't recommend doing this, or it will create a lot of confusion. Hence, try for Indian pizza shop, right? It clearly tells that I want to sell Indian pizzas, not Italian pizzas. I am being very specific, and I am talking about I wanted to sell pizza and I am a shop which is available. Instead, you can also remove shop because it's obvious. You can say indianpizza.com, right? Now these are verified domain. There is already a lot of domains on this, but you can have indianpizza.co.in, indian-pizza, the indianpizza.com. So if you ask me, I will take this, the indianpizza.com. That makes more resonating. So I can take for 1 rupee, I can buy this domain, right? I can start saying that okay, I am okay with this domain. Okay, I will take this particular domain pizza.com, and I can go and start purchasing this particular domain for 3 years. 1 year it is 1 rupee, and for the remaining 2 years it will be costing me around 1499 rupees. If in case in our example, or for our testing purpose, there is no need to create a new domain, there will be free domains that are available on the site. I will show you that as well, so that you can use a free domain and create for our testing purpose is concerned, right? So this is how you will take a domain. There are multiple other tools like GoDaddy. There is domain.not, Wiz.com. There are multiple other tools which I will provide you those information as well. So that is how, as simple as you take a domain based on the business that is resonating with you, and take and buy that and use it in your. Uh, Once the domain is taken, now what's the next step? You need to start hosting that in a server, right? You took a domain, you need to start hosting in a server, and you need to purchase a server space, right? Now, for that, what you need to know, for example, now once you purchase this, right, you need to start connecting the server, and you need to start connecting the domain, right? Because let's say you purchased a domain on GoDaddy. I am showing here you purchased a domain on abc dot, okay, now here we purchased indianpizza.com, right? The indianpizza.com. Now where did we purchase? We purchased that in GoDaddy website. Now once this GoDaddy website is purchased from this, what will happen? GoDaddy will have its own IPs. They are called as named servers, right? Domain DNS is nothing but named server. They will have its own name servers called as ns1 and ns2. The indianpizza.com will have its own server name called as ns1 and ns2. Now once that is done, now you need to go and buy your hosting server. So for that hosting server, we need to go for Hostinger. For example, there are multiple other hosting servers. You can take Hostinger, for example. This is where you can host your website. I will show you that as well. Start now. Now you have single website, which is costing you 89 rupees. Most popular premium 149 rupees for 3 months. Business websites, cloud startup website. Now here, what is the difference between all these is, in a single you can only create one website, which means, for example, you are starting your own business, then for you this one website is required. Whereas you are creating a digital marketing, or you are starting your own digital marketing company. For that, you help customers to create websites. In that case, what you will do is you will take your own server with a premium cost on hostinger, and your customers, you will host them on this particular hostinger server, which means, for example, you have created a server. On that server, now you are taking that shared server and creating for your 25 different customers. Then in that case, you will take a premium package where you can host 25 different websites. Whereas if you are doing it for your personal brand, then you will take one website because it doesn't require more websites for you. So in this case, you can choose a plan of 89 rupees in this particular example. In total, it's taking per month 14,000 for 3 years. I will only take for, let's say, 12 months. For 2,500 rupees, you are able to create a website for your lifelong period, right? So then you will have a renewal cost of this. You can create, continue, for example, enter your website now, Indian Pizza. Right, this is available. It is coming at 749 rupees per cost. Now you can see the difference here. The same website we are getting for 749 rupees, whereas GoDaddy is giving me for just 1 rupee. So where do I buy in this case? I'll go and buy from uh, I will go and buy from GoDaddy.com, because I am getting for very lesser cost compared to this hostinger. Hence, I will take it from there, and I will use the domain here. Hence, the difference of using a server is different. In this case, hostinger, and the domain you are getting it from godaddy.com. So in this case, if you are using a different server and you are using a different provider for your domain, then what you need to do, you need to map these, both of these, to one mapping, or we call it as mapping of DNS. You need to map this NS1 and NS2. So as soon as you buy this domain, you will be getting an email with the NS1 and NS2 information, which will be a small IP address. And even once you buy this hostinger, you will be getting another NS1 and NS2. There will be two ways of doing it. Where if you are using both servers the same, 90% of the times the mapping will be automatically done. There is nothing that you need to do an extra step. Whereas in this example, if you are doing two different ways, what will happen? Then you need to map it manually. You need to map that NS1 and NS2 server. Again, it is nothing complex. You will get one IP address. You need to go and replace. If you are using GoDaddy, then you need to replace.
तुम्हारा चार्जर हाँ ये देखो.
Sorry.
Sorry man.
Yeah, no problem. So then you need to replace the existing. For example, let's, in this case, let's say we got 1.2.3.4, for example 1.5.6.7. Here we got 1.10.1.9.1, for example. Now what you will do, you will take this number and replace that in the server number, as simple as that. Then number 2, that's it. You are now manually mapping that, saying that to the system that, hey, I have purchased from a different server, I have purchased from a different server here. Now I am replacing my NS1 and NS2 with this IPs that you need to now locate. As simple as that, making that small change, and the mapping will be automatically taken care. Now, how long does it take for the mapping? It might take from between 2 hours to 24 hours for the mapping to happen in the servers. So all you need to wait is for 24 hours. Then the mapping will be done only when you are using different servers. If everything that you purchased from same network, then it will be automatically done within couple of seconds. Now, once this mapping of DNS is completed, the next step that you need to remember is to create your business email. Now, why this business email is required? For example, right now you have created .com, right? Now you need to have, if anyone wants to write an email to you, right? Info at the rate indianpizza.com. Anyone wants to write an email to inquiry at the rate indianpizza.com. So you need to have to make it authentic. You cannot create, hey, I am giving Gmail address saying that Ishwar at the rate in gmail.com. If I give this, people doesn't trust our authenticity of our website. Hey, as a company, why they are not even have their domain, why they are using personal domain or personal email address. Hence, to maintain that authenticity, we always recommend, as soon as you create a website or you start your own business, you need to create your own business email address. It can also range from 1,000 email addresses and all, but yeah, you need to create your business email address, which will be automatically provided by the DNS server. Once you map, this entire mapping is done, you can take that business domain and it will give you certain space for you to host your business email addresses, right? So that is how a business email address will be created. Now this is where the now actually the real way of creating website will come into picture. All these are the only backend things that you need to, little technical things. I will not call it as even technical. It is very simple. You have multiple websites. Based on your need, you will go select them and you will take everything into consideration. Guess what? There is no coding required, there is no technical required, there is no designing required, there is nothing required. All you have to know, different websites, go to the website, in a matter of click of a button you will be able to create that domains, take domains, creating servers, and all this will be happening within a fraction of seconds. Now let's start creating a website, right? Now let's take an example, right? I will take two brands here. Since we've opened already, I will show you two brands. Now you can see this Swiggy and Zomato are in the same business, right? They are a food delivery apps. They're in the same business. When you look at Swiggy, on the top they have given location, search food, and when I slowly scroll down, right, when I slowly scroll down, they are saying that hello Bangalore pizzas, whereas the same home Bangalore collections, some images of different restaurants, same thing, images with different restaurants. Scroll down, whereas Zomato has a long list of brands or restaurants listed, whereas whereas Swiggy, although it has limited it to 3 rows, whereas it gave me an option to show more. Whereas Zomato did not give me the option. It has listed everything that it wants to list, and everything has been shown on the first page itself, making it little user friendly. I'm not saying this is the right way to do it or wrong way to do it. It is little user friendly. It has given me multiple options, whereas Swiggy has done it little differently. Now what I'm trying to show here, or I will ask you this question, it gave me different locations as well. What is this? What is this? What are you seeing? What this website consists of? Anyone wants to unmute and see, give a stab at it? What is that you are seeing on this website? So basic images, correct? Images, a text, images, text, and all this is, although it is the same brands or same competitors, they have a different theme. We call it as a theme. They have a different way of theme. It has a different way of theme, right? They used a different blocks here. They have used a different blocks with show more, having less content. All these are called as themes. Now that is where I am coming up, where you need to create your website and you need to choose a theme on what kind of theme that you want for your website. Now, first let's start with creating a website. So there is a tool called as WordPress, right? It's called as CMS. Okay, WordPress is the most famous website platform, website designing platform, which is very easy to use. So using this website, it is very easy friendly, where you can use drag and drop options and create your own website uh, in a matter of few minutes. There is no coding required. Again, it's a small intuitive platform where majority of the websites on the world is currently hosted on this WordPress site. It's very easy to drag and drop. You can also take domain here, you can also take themes here, you can use plugins here, right? So let's start with this. So once you have created your WordPress login, which I just did while we are on the call, you can easily create your website site or login, as simple as that, with a matter of seconds. Once you do that, you need to first know how to install a WordPress, then create a WordPress login, which we did, password, email, and reset, which you'll be doing it. And if you do not want to use WordPress moving forward, you should be knowing how to remove that WordPress from your site or a logo from your site. Those are the basic stuff which you'll be receiving an email once the WordPress login is created, right? Once you create it, right now, why WordPress is highly recommended is because it has 59,000 different plugins, which means it can support 59,000 plugins. What are those plugins, right? So for example, if I open any website, there will be a chat option at the bottom, right? There will be a chat option, there will be location option available, there will be a phone number option available, there will be WhatsApp available, saying that, hey, please click on this WhatsApp and we will be responding. So those plugins are already available in WordPress, so that there is no extra cost for you. It is needed to build that uh, particular plugin, or no need to buy that plugin or write any extra code or try to purchase that service. Everything is inbuilt, provided with a minimal cost within WordPress, so that you can use that WordPress plugins. You can see, you can integrate any plugin. For example, if you want, I want chat, right? I can use multiple. Okay, I want to use, okay, product add-ons. I can use multiple chats. Okay, yeah, floating chat widget. As soon as I want a chat widget like this, I can use it for free of cost, saying that, okay, I want this chat widget, so that it will pop up like this, which you are able to see. Get started, for example. I'm just taking. That will ask you for a cost for now, because you wanted to create that website, which we will do it in a very later moment. But yeah, once you check that out, you will be getting that multiple options of using plugins, and you can easily integrate that into your website, so that whatever you want, you can easily create in WordPress site, which we will talk tomorrow, and I will show you how practically how to build that DNS server, how to create web pages, how to create WordPress, how to take this themes, different themes. There is Hostinger for different themes. There are multiple website eliminator for plugins. There are multiple tools that you can easily use and integrate everything into one so that your website is ready. So tomorrow we will be covering the entire practical nature of creating a website, and then I will give you an assignment where you guys can come up with different domain selection. You can create your own uh, website for WordPress. On WordPress, you can create a dummy website on your own, where taking all the elements that we discussed today and tomorrow, you can create, and over the weekend you can show your website to us. So that is how we will complete the website part within next 1 or 2 days of time. So you will be practically knowing how to, from scratch, without using any kind of coding language, how easy to create, host and maintain a website in a matter of time. You will be learning in tomorrow's session. So I'll stop here. Before we proceed or sign off for the day, any questions from anyone, any thoughts, comments from anyone? You can unmute yourself and ask any question that you have. No questions? Okay, that being said, I think we are good for the day. We can close for the day. And tomorrow we will start with the practical session of how a website is created with all these themes, plugins, and all this. We can complete it by tomorrow, and we can take one more revision on the next day, so that you will be doing it by yourself and completing the website portion of the training. Yeah, thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.